Hey, everybody. Happy Spy Sunday. Let's make some money this week. Let's get it started. Pop in the chat. Let me know who's here. If you're in the Discord already, drop your Discord name. If you're new, type new. We will be giving away some free memberships once again to give you guys access to the real-time trade alerts, the options trades, the stock trades, the crypto trades, the analysis, everything, including the trading psychology and trading education course. So get in there, drop a comment, make sure you do because you get a chance to win some free stuff. And then after that, let's get in the chat again. Let's blow these comments up. Come on, baby. Let's go. How'd you guys do this week? Let's see, green or red. I want to get started with a good understanding of how everybody's doing. Green or red, drop it in the chat. Just type green or type red, type a G or type an R. Either way, I'm happy. Let's do it. Let's see how you're doing. I want to check in. Doctor, what's up, baby? Justin, Frank, Dave, Nikki, Sergeant, Chris up in here. We got the vintage moto guy up in here. I hope that means Motorola, but just kidding. It probably means motorcycle. Red or green, how'd you do on the week? How did you do? Right on. Welcome, my friend, Justin Damp. I love that. I love a good hard F after a P. Welcome, my friend. I'm glad you are here. Range trade green. I also love that. You belong here, my friend. Welcome. Red or green? Come on, I know there's more of you here than that. So let's see it. Red or green. There's over 30 of you watching. Let's see it right here, right now. Just the 30 answers. And right after you're done with that, right before we get into it, please make sure to like this video, bump us on the YouTube algo. We appreciate your help and your support. And make sure you hit subscribe to the channel because you do not want to miss every time we go live. I'm going to be doing more sporadic lives throughout the week when I see some good trade opportunities emerge. So you absolutely want to hit that subscribe button to make sure you are getting access to that stuff as soon as humanly possible. And by the way, I just wanted to check in with you guys and tell you that A, I love you. B, I think this week is going to be very, very interesting for us. We got a lot of really interesting things we're going to look at. We're going to go through the SPY, obviously. We're going to go dig into a couple of options trades that look really, really good based on the charts right now. We're going to look at one long-term play that I really, really like. And then we're going to wrap it up with a small cap stock pick of the week. We've nailed the last three. For those of you that haven't been watching, the last one we did was Open. The ticker is OPEN. We're going to take a quick look here. We had a beautiful pop the other day. We talked about this thing trading down to the bottom of the range at 160, and we got a big pop up to 195 just the other day. If we zoom in a little bit on the hourly chart, boom, up to 195. So this is a perfect bottom of range trade. On the hourly chart, we were talking about this crossover here. That was very, very important. And then we got the support bounce right at the 200-day EMA. Fantastic. Huge green day up to 195 from 150. 50-cent move. That's a big move, guys. That's almost 50% on that one. We also talked about this in Open the other day. We saw a big boom on OXBR. We were talking about it about $1.95, went up to 240. That was a big mover that made us some money, and it was a fun time for everybody. So last chance, I'm going to tell you, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the likes. When we hit 30 likes, because there's over 30 a year, we're going to get rolling into the SPY chart. It's time for everybody to give a little. I'm not asking for much. Just support a man in his streaming career and allow me to do this full time and love y'all. If you click it twice, it goes away, guys. Please don't do that. Just click it one time. There you go. Click it one time, get it back. We're trying to bump this channel up, and the more we bump this channel up, the more we'll be streaming throughout the week. I just want to make sure that this is of value to you guys and our organization as a whole. And we have been crushing these options trades. The trading psychology has been on point. I feel like everybody's learning and watching and understanding a hell of a lot better. And before we jump in, that's my last question. I promise. Have these been helping you? These streams we do every week. A, has it been helping you? And B, I would just love to hear your thoughts on, what has been the best part of this? What has been the most fruitful, wonderful part of this voyage for you guys? Because at the end of the day, I need to make sure that we're covering things that are actually helping you succeed, thrive, grow as a trader, make more money. Because at the end of the day, we're here to make money. Vintage Moto Guy, my friend, welcome. Here to learn more. I love that. You are in the right place, my friend. Stick around because we will be giving away free membership, and we will be giving away a couple of discounts to people that are new, just to make sure you get access to the real-time options trades that we put out day in, day out. So welcome. Let's give this man a welcome, a new man. I love that. I love a newbie catching us on YouTube. And again, that's why I ask that you hit the like on the video, bump us up so we can get up there in the YouTube algo and get this out to people so that they can stop losing money, because that's the worst thing that can happen for any of us in the market. So we're getting close, guys. We're only 10 away. We're only 10 away. 10 more likes, and we have hit 30, and we are good to go. So if you haven't slapped that thumbs up yet, slap it. We get 30, we're gonna head on in. I'm gonna hold everyone here hostage until we get it. Trade mapping. This is what I like to see. Let me go back to StreamYard so I can pop that up there. The question was, what has benefited you the most? I saw someone comment, mapping out the trades, particularly SPY. Beautiful, beautiful. I love hearing that. Spare change. What's up, my baby boy? How you living? It's an interesting picture you got there. That's the least I could say about that. Can you chart MCD? Yeah, John, just stick with me when we get a little bit further down the road, maybe about a half hour. If you could just pop that back in there to remind me, I'd appreciate it. Just looking to hear what has benefited you the most about the stream? Like what switches you on and gets you going when you watch this? 5 more likes, guys. That's all we need. We're at 25. We're almost at 30. We're almost there. We're almost there, and we're gonna go into some options trades that are gonna make you money, hundreds, if not thousands. Just a couple of likes for a boy. That's all I'm asking here. Just a couple likes away from getting rolling here. We're looking for 30. Come looking for 30. Anybody have me at 27? I'm 27. I got 27. Can I get 28? 28, 28. Humming a 28. Looking for 28. Looking for 28 or 29, even 30. 3 more. Come on. 3 more. We get 30 likes. We get ripping and rolling, and we get into these trades. That's all it takes. We're at 27 now. We need 3 more. There's 10 of you that haven't, so get in there and there we go. Can I get a 20? I got it. I love you, whoever did it. Can I get a 29? Can I get it? Does anybody else remember that commercial? That was the best commercial I ever saw. And the guy said, "Can I get a hot tub?" Because I think it was State Farm. God, they really nailed that commercial. We're at 29. 29. Can I get a 30? Can I get a 30 so we can get going here? Come on, come on, come on. Oh, went back down. Somebody clicked again. You got to click again. Click it back. Click it back. You knocked it. There we end. We're at 30. Boom. Let's go. We're going to get into the SPY. We're going to look at some option trades. We're going to have a little bit of fun. And you guys are going to make some money, which is really what matters. So I asked what you guys like. John Bauer says, I like seeing the charts with your rationale. I love that. All right, let's go, my friends. A little quick sippy. It's time to go. Ben, welcome, my friend. Very, very happy you're here. We are going to just give you a recap one more time. We got our likes, so we're going to keep going. Oh, they went down. Come on. We're back at 28. Who clicked off? If you smash that like button, it turns blue. You just leave it there. You just hit the thumbs up once and you leave it. We lost 2 of our likes. Come on, guys. Come on, we need to get back to 30. Can I get a 29? Can I get a 29? You haven't hit the like button. That's all I'm asking. So, Ben, we are going to cover number 1, the SPY. That's pretty much our focus here because there's the most opportunity in trading options on the SPY, and it gives us a good idea of the general market so that we can map it out for the entire week. You will walk away from this video with a comprehensive understanding of what are the most likely outcomes to expect for this week in the market so that you can trade it both ways, guys. DeAndre, thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate your support, and I love you. You're gonna walk away with the knowledge of an options trader, my friend, and you're gonna make some money while you do it. We're gonna have everything mapped out so you know exactly when to trade calls, when to trade puts, when to go long, when to go short, and exactly when to get out because we have hit resistance or support depending on which way you're trading. So let's take a moment. Let's take a brief moment of silence. Let the spirit in the room. Let's simmer down. Talking to myself. I need to simmer down. I'm getting too excited now. All right. Let's get into it. So welcome. I'm glad you guys are here. This is the stream everybody waits for. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, share this on Instagram, share it everywhere you can. Our goal here is to let you guys see a deeper look and get more insight into what a trader like myself looks at throughout the week while trading the SPY, specifically options. We will cover some stocks, but specifically options. And my goal is that you guys walk away with a comprehensive plan and an understanding of why that makes sense. We always talk about this. What makes the difference between a good trader and a bad trader? Number 1, bedtime lullaby. First of all, yes, it's ironic that that's your name and it's putting the kids to bed. It will absolutely be on later. I'd love for you to stick around, but the kids come first, so get those little guys to bed and then, pop back on YouTube, and it should be there for you waiting. We talk about 2 things that are tantamount to all things. One of them, and this is how you should basically this should guide the entirety of your trading, okay? Number 1, you need to always have a thesis. If you don't have that, you don't have a starting point, and you shouldn't be trading because you're just throwing money in the market and hoping for the best. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna pay you long term. My goal here is that you guys get yourselves paid. Trading is the best and easiest business to start on your own and start paying yourself immediately. So, what a thesis is, is a speculative opinion on direction of the market, for lack of a better term. It's basically saying, here's what I think is going to happen, and here's why. So, for example, if your thesis is, interest rates are coming back down, I could see a bull market burgeoning here. Tech companies are going to get more money because interest is down, so money's cheaper to borrow, and I think it's going to facilitate some strong growth. That would be a thesis. Speculating direction of the market, you've got your why, you're locked and loaded. Now part 2, very important. You need to have a plan of how you're gonna trade that thesis. That plan could encompass, I'm only gonna trade SPY, I'm only gonna trade these certain stocks, I'm only gonna trade these type of options contracts, whether it be, spread, just an individual naked long call, whatever it is that you're gonna trade, you need to have a plan for that trade. Here's where I take profit. Here's where I stop out. Here's where I'm breaking even. You need to know these metrics of every trade because if you don't, again, you're throwing your money into the market and hoping for the best. And I'll ask you guys here, when you've done that in the past, has that paid you? Yes or a no? When you just simply throw money into the market and just go, it's probably going to go up. I'm just going to buy calls. I'm just going to buy puts. But you don't have a thesis as to why. Have you just thrown money into the market and has it paid you? Overall, one trade is an anomaly. You do it week in, week out for a month, you've got a strategy. Because I assume the answer is no. And here's why that answer is no. Big money preys on they prey on the underprivileged and uninformed. It's just the reality of capitalism and the world we live in right now. Not speaking out against it, I'm just saying my incentive here, my goal, you guys have to make money. If you're not making money, why the hell are you gonna come to this stream? Why are you gonna check out our alerts? Why are you gonna do any of that? You're not. So if you're not making money, I'm not doing my job. So as we look into this chart right now, okay, our thesis has been choppy, neutral, range bound. We think, or at least I think, and for those of you that agree, you would be lumped in that category, that our market right now that we're looking at as far as the S&P is concerned is going to trade in this range of 403 and 389. That's our thesis. That the market will be range bound until something significant happens and something changes, fuels, facilitates that growth. So you look at last week's stream, and if anyone would be so kind, when we transition subjects, if you could just timestamp, like for right now, we're going to go into recap of last week. If you could just timestamp, hey, we're at 13 minutes and 50 seconds, SPY recap, and do that throughout the whole video. If anyone's willing to do that, please DM me. If you'd like to do it today, that'd be awesome. I have a proposition for you for anyone that's here every week and has no problem doing that. That would be huge. Uh, there you go. Anytime I do McCree with my own good dog and oh god, man, come on. It's the saddest thing in the world, but it's true. So if anybody's willing to do that, please DM me on Discord at Big Quench. I have a proposition for you. So last week we talked about a support touch between 391 and 389. We got that. If you look at this on the hourly chart, okay, let's go back to Sunday. We talked about a little bit of a sell-off. I believe Sunday was that the 20th? It's calendar, yeah. Last Sunday was the 19th. So we were right about here, in between here. Remember, market opened very low, came down to 385 in pre-market, which I don't know, that could be options exercise. But we talked about that quick move up, break over resistance, and then bullish to 394. Calls, paid, right? Then the next day, we went live again. We talked about how we could see a breakout and a test of near 400 bucks. Opened, broke out, test near 399.50. Same day, same thing next day, we either come down and we hit a support test up 395, 394, or we run and we potentially test 403. We went as high as 402.49 and then we sold off. So here we are now, right? So we nailed that last week. We speculated in the right form and fashion, and I think we made a very realistic observation of the SPY, and we absolutely nailed it. Um, in however you guys feel about that, whether you traded it well or not, I mean, we nailed it. And if you didn't, then again, reach out because I wanna help you figure out exactly why you didn't trade it well and why you didn't make money so that you can. So, what happened Friday? Huge move. We talked about again that test down 389. That support is pretty strong, and it was looking pretty good in the trade in going into trading of at the beginning of last week. So what happened? We tested 389 and we pushed up, and now we're trading about 396. But we had a very strong bullish day on decent volume, not anything crazy, just about average. But here's the important part of where we are right now in the SPY. If you guys can see this chart, this is what we need to pay attention to. Look at this RSI value right here. Again, remember, as far as my RSI setup is concerned, this is the 9-day over the 14. The 9-day is the yellow, the 14-day is the blue. We want a longer term RSI and a shorter term RSI so that we can gauge momentum. When we see this yellow RSI sitting above the blue, that means the short-term momentum is strong. That's a good thing. This should function as support and resistance. The blue, meaning the blue should function as support and resistance. So when we see crosses up over that blue, typically means we're getting to move up. So what do we have here? Crossed up right here. It is held above and stayed above the 14-day, which means the strength the strength of the momentum of the SPY over the last 9 days is stronger than that of the momentum of the previous 14 days, which means it's picking up steam to the upside long. So we're sitting right at about 50, and that's important because, again, that's your mid-range for RSI. When we're looking at strong bullish moves, we wanna see 60 plus. So if you don't have any understanding of RSI, that's something to write down right there. Bearish, we wanna see 40 and below. Bullish, I wanna see 60 and up. And then obviously we confirm with the price action on the chart, but it's important to know those things. And if you don't know what RSI is, make sure you join the Discord. I'll put the link there and join the free trading education course because it will walk you through exactly how to not only set up your chart, but also exactly what your chart should look like and how to interpret and read those things. So, ooh, you go. That's the link, discord.gg/pennyboys with an I, baby. That's where you go. That's where you need to be. So, what we have here is very interesting right now. Again, we just talked about the RSI. We're tipping up over 50. Volume has been better. If we look on the long-term scheme of things, this box right here, so the last week and a half has been significantly stronger volume than that of which we've seen since, I would argue, May of 2022. So what that tells us is that we are starting to develop a pretty strong sense of range for the SPY, but it also tells us that we might have, for the short term, bottomed out at 344, which is a very positive sign for our market overall. And I would argue that most people are leaning towards bullishness. If you look at this consolidation, where are we sitting right here? What pattern do you see here? Not to say that patterns are everything, but what pattern do you see here, guys? What pattern is that? What are we looking at there? Let's see what you guys have learned and what you know. Correct, Justin. It's an inverted head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders. Typically, in a pattern like this, should it play out in the way that this pattern statistically tends to play out, you get the left shoulder, you get the head, the right shoulder, and then you typically see a pretty bullish move up to retest the neckline, which what I would argue is right here. That's 403. So that's why we are in such a good position to make a good amount of money right now because not only has our thesis been playing out spectacularly, but now we have something else to point to and say, "Hey, that's another way to measure whether we're on the ball or not." So, This is our neckline now, and that's why I'm liking this so much. This 403 is a pivotal price point right now. As you can see in the past, we've diddled around with this line before, pushing as high as 411 off of that break of resistance. We've touched down off this line of support, support, resistance, resistance, resist nothing blew through, resistance, support, resistance, and then back down. This neckline right here, right? If you look at this is the neckline, head, shoulders. This is the price I need to see break before I start to say, "Hey, yeah, head and shoulder inverted head and shoulders. This looks good. Let's pay attention to this. Let's follow this pattern, and let's trade this setup." So, the problem here is that if we don't get that breakup relatively soon, we are doing nothing but setting up for, in my opinion, a bull trap. So there's bull flags, bear flags, and basically what we're seeing here is something very interesting that it's down in my opinion, it's downward price momentum with mixed in volatility, which gives the appearance that we're kinda chopping up for a move up. So if this inverted head and shoulders plays out, I think we're golden and we're gonna ride this resistance all the way up. And if we see continuation over 403 and then again, another price point to write down, or map it on your chart is 426 to 430. To me, that is the biggest pivot point to determine momentum over the next 3 to 6 months. Over $430 a share, I think it's gonna absolutely rip. If it cannot break that price, I think we're gonna continue with even more bearish momentum to the downside, and I think we could realistically test as low as about 310 or so, which will be a huge puts play, and we'll make a lot of money on it, so I don't mind. But we need to see this inverted head and shoulders play out. Let me get rid of some of these lines here to keep this a little bit simpler for you guys. So, let's dial into this. Let's dig in, get your spoons out. So, here's where we are right now. This is my midline. It's not direct center, but I think it's our midline to watch. That's 394 and change. Here's our bottom of the range. That's 388. Here's our top of range. That's 403.7. Give or take. Always give or take on these guys by a couple of cents. Don't get caught up on an exact hit. It's just a matter of a couple of cents, give or take a percentage, no more. Um, so a small percentage rather. So again, we got the support bounce off descending support, right? So this descending support coming straight down here. We crossed back up over it. It became resistance again right here. We broke up, we found support again, and we've held, and now we've got another touch. So either here's what I think is going to occur for us over the next week or so. We're either gonna continue down, and again, I'll draw this out so you guys can see it. We're either gonna continue down until we reach our inflection point right here, right? A point of confluence where these lines meet, which tells us that that's a pretty pivotal price point, especially when support and resistance meet, that tells us that that is a particularly interesting intersection to watch. So I think we either continue to descend and we retest that support, call it 388, 390, or and this is, we're talking longer term here, guys. This right now, we're talking weekly or so. Or we continue to consolidate in this range, and we bounce around until we test 403.76. So, this is what we need to be prepared for this week. As we look at how the session closed on Friday, right? RSI looking pretty good. So make that a little bit bigger. RSI looking pretty good. Okay, we're looking at, about 65 on the 9-day and above 60 on the 14-day. That's always a great sign. Again, we're on the hourly chart here because we wanna be able to map out our day trades as well as our swing trades so that we can enter the setup the right way, but make sure that we are taking the trade, that makes most sense based on what we're seeing on the chart. Let me get a quick drink. As I take a brief pause for my voice so my voice doesn't burn out. Um, how are you guys living? How's life? I know trading it's been good. How's life for you guys? This is gonna be a brief 1-minute intermission. I wanna get down to the other stuff too. Is life treating you well overall, would you say? Favorable? Unfavorable? Anybody have any announcements? Anybody have a baby, get married, do anything exciting, meet someone they think is gonna be the one, come upon, inheritance? What's going on in your guys' lives? Oh, shit, man, I'm really sorry to hear that. Uh, Cloudy Farms Genetics, I'm really sorry to hear that, brother. Losing a parent is not an easy thing. I'm very fortunate that I have not lost either of mine yet, but I can't imagine what you're going through, but, I'm here, brother. If you're in the Discord, shoot me a message, man. You wanna chat anytime, I'm here, man. I've experienced a lot of loss. Lost a lot of friends, not family, but friends. Um, LT with that smirk, I'm not blowing your news, you can blow it yourself. I don't wanna make announcements for people. Uh, Anybody else? What's going on in your life? How you living? Anything good, bad, ugly, otherwise? What's up, Jacob? How you living? Vacation coming up, baby getting over COVID. Oh, it's rough, man. That's rough when the kids have COVID. That's tough. Kyle, graduating college. Congratulations, my friend. Welcome to the world. Welcome to the world. Where are you graduating college from, my guy? Frank, waiting for my Frank likes leaving us hanging because he's got that professional headshot, so he's just always making us wait. Dave, that's my guy, waking up every day. This is a gift. It's a gift, people. The ability to trade is a gift. Travel back oh, nice, man. I've always wanted to go to Japan. That sounds fantastic. With those headshots, I bet you can get in anywhere you'd like. I love a good professional headshot. Right on. Congratulations, Kyle. Vamsi is an immigrant on a work visa worrying about job and life, but I make myself busy. Well, hey, baby, let's make you some money in the market. Let's make you some money here, my friend. Let's make you that money and let's make it permanent if that's something you're interested in. I'm always interested in how people experience the United States from an outside perspective, how much they like it. Pokey, you sly dog, you. You will be in the same room. You better watch yourself. Better watch yourself, Pookie. All right. I just wanted to check in. Newfoundland. Welcome. Morton Mousy, my friend. Welcome from Newfoundland. We got you off of the ice and onto YouTube for trades. I like that. Always wanted to go to Newfoundland. There's a lot of places up north I'd like to see. Brian, almost 3 years. Beautiful. Well, let's get you profitable, my friend. If you're not in the Discord, shoot me a DM, baby. Come on, it's at Big Quench. I'll post right here. If anybody's got any questions, if I don't answer you right away, do not fear, do not fret. I'll answer you within 24 hours. I'm pretty good about that. So shoot me a message. I'll say this, and then we'll keep going. Nothing's ever lost. If you've been at this for a few years and you haven't found the success that you crave, the success that you expected, the only way you don't find that success is if you quit. What does it mean to be successful to you? Now, obviously, when it comes to trading, you have to make money, right? That's the point. But I would argue that in the beginning for a trader, making money is a wonderful byproduct, but it's not the point. The point is to understand how to leverage your capital to multiply it and or gain knowledge, wisdom, experience, expertise, so that in the future, when you have more money, you can then successfully compound your money. It took me a while. Told you guys this. I was trading biotechs. I got lucky in the beginning, and then I made some terrible trades, and I lost some money, and then I got far more experience. I paid my dues. I lost money. I won money, lost money, won, lost. Until eventually I was pretty consistent, and that's when you guys met me, is when I kinda hit that swing of consistency. And then as you all know, I ended up losing about $40,000 on one trade, about a year after that. 40 grand, one trade in like 13 or 14 minutes. Low point in my life. Not because money is everything, but because it was, horrible, man. I just had a baby. I was just thinking in my head, like, I could have paid for, 2 years of college. I could have bought her a car. I could have put in a savings account if something terrible happened to be able to cover any emergency expenses. It's a down payment on a house. It's not a small amount of money, and I felt so irresponsible. I felt like an idiot, and I felt really stupid. But mostly I just felt like, yeah, I think irresponsible, was probably at the core of it, and, what I've learned since then, because I didn't trade for a while, I really backed off, was that that loss was one of the best things that ever happened to me, and here's why. That loss saved me probably an additional $100,000 in losses over the next couple years. Why? Because I'm, A, not gonna make that same mistake I made on that Zoom trade that lost me 40K. B, it shook me enough that I started to take this game a little bit more seriously, but key part, but without ever forgetting that it is a game. My relationship with my kids, not a game. My relationship with my wife, not a game. My relationship with you guys, not a game. This, trading, a game. Sometimes I struggle to take the mask off and I get trapped in the role. And when I'm trapped in the role, my self-esteem is based entirely on the circumstantial result, right? So if I'm negative for the week, if I'm red for the week, my self-esteem goes in the gutter. If I'm green for the week, I am on top of the world, high as a kite, feeling wonderful about myself. But it's not healthy. It's not true happiness, and it doesn't last. The key here is to be dispassionate as possible. So what does that mean? What that means is that our emotional well-being is completely untethered from the outcome of these trades, from the outcome of a proposal at your job, of a potential opportunity for a raise, of a promotion, of asking someone to go out with you, like going out on a limb to make a new friendship. Those things hurt and it sucks and they happen and it doesn't feel good if it doesn't go your way, and it feels great if it does, but it doesn't change anything inherent about you. Until I knew who I was as a person or wanted to be, only then did I get good at this consistently. Only then was I able to turn this into a career, right? Only then was I able to generate income from clicking a few buttons for a few hours here and there because I did the work outside away from the desk that was required. I had no excuses, but most importantly, I am so compassionate to myself that I stay in the game. And we talk about there's 2 different ways that we need to stay in this game, right? Number 1, protect capital at all costs. If we're not doing that, we have screwed ourselves and we are going to lose. Your capital, your dry powder, and you wanna look at it as the money you have to execute these trades, to put on the line, is the one thing you absolutely need or you can't do this. If you have no money to trade with, you're not trading. If you can't trade, then you're not gonna compound that money and make more of it. We wanna get everyone out of this mindset of, like, always trading time for money and get you in the mindset of, like, "Yes, I trade time for money, but then my money goes to work and makes me little money babies, and then it comes home to me and I snuggle it, and then it goes back again and it makes more money babies, but I'm not putting in all this additional time." The second part, number 2, is that we have to protect our well-being above all else. We talk about things that seem unrelated to trading, but I promise you they're absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have a bad trade, who cares? Doesn't mean you're a terrible person or you're an idiot or none of that. But what does matter is what went wrong in that trade? Why didn't it work out? Was it a bad setup to begin with? Is it a trade you shouldn't have taken? Or Was it a good trade that maybe you jumped in too early, you jumped the gun, you overcommitted, too big of a position, had no stop loss, or maybe set too tight of a stop loss, position got stopped out, you lost 1,000 bucks, so then you started playing it again on the way up, you're chasing now, right? And because you're chasing, your risk to reward is gonna be completely unbalanced. And so instead of taking profit when we hit resistance with, say, following the alert, you're continuing the trade because you need to make more for it to make sense. And then it hits and comes right back down, hits your stop again, and now you're out 2 grand, 2 losses. You got punched in the face twice on the same trade, and it feels terrible. It's a terrible feeling. So then you go and trade something else hoping that you can work your way out of it because why? You're trading emotionally. We talk about this one example that's very I think it's clear to it gave me a clearer understanding. You're gambling, right? You take 100 bucks to the casino, let's go. You sit down at the table, right? You're at the casino, you got your 100 bucks, you sit down at the table. All of a sudden, you're up 100 bucks. You've doubled your money. This is great. Let's leave, man. I wanna leave. I doubled my money in less than 20 minutes. This was worth it. I made 100 bucks. In 20 minutes, I'm basically making 300 bucks an hour at this rate. But then you start to think, "Well, I turned this into 200 bucks so easily. Maybe I'll just take some more risk." And as long as I leave with the 100 bucks I came with, I'm happy, right? 'Cause I didn't lose anything. Not true. So then you lose. You're back down to your initial 100 bucks. Instead of walking away from the table, what do you do? Well, I turned this into 200 bucks in 20 minutes before. There's no reason I can't do it again. You try again, and all of a sudden, you're down to 20 bucks. Oh my god. I should have just left. I was at 100 bucks. I should have just left. Why didn't I? But then you make it back. Now you're at 150. So you're up. You're positive 50 bucks. So instead of walking away from the table, what do you do? Well, I got down to 20 and I turned it back into 150. So clearly I know what I'm doing. I'm on a roll. Lady Luck is following me tonight and I'm gonna make some more money. So now you're at 150. You're up, but you don't leave the table. The joke is you don't ever leave the table. It doesn't matter if you're up, down, even, you never leave the table because you went in there without a plan, without a thesis, without an understanding of exactly what you're willing to risk and what you were looking to make. So when you go in these trades, remember that example. If you don't have risk reward calculated, if you don't understand why the trade makes sense, if you don't know exactly what you'll make and what you'll lose if you lose and what you'll make if you win, you are that gambler sitting down at that table with no idea what you're gonna do and just throwing money into the wind. John, the tag man always brings up one of my favorite examples of that, and then I'll get back into it, but imagine all your money's on fire in your living room, and you run down there, "Oh my god, my money's on fire. What am I gonna do?" So you take more money out and you throw it on the fire trying to put it out until, "Oh, no, now that money's on fire." So you grab another stack of money and you're trying to bat these flames out, but the money keeps catching fire. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna fix it, but why? It's not a capital issue, it's not a trading issue, it's an emotional issue. Not knowing when to leave the table, whether you're up or down. And if you're thinking, "Well, I have to make this work," that's the wrong place to come from. Never anything in my life through the businesses I've built, through the trading success, through personal relationships have I ever built a successful, validating, wonderful, fulfilling relationship from a place of need or want. If I tell the world I need this, I'm telling the world I don't have it already. I don't have it. If I believe I don't have it, subconsciously my energy is being directed towards the outcome I do not want. The self-fulfilling prophecy tells us that which consumes our mind, essentially, the thing is that is front and center in our mind is the most likely outcome we'll give ourselves. So if I'm sitting there thinking, I don't have it. I don't have enough. I need it. I need it. I need it, which is the same thing as saying I don't have it. We're going to give ourselves that outcome. Have you ever feared something so much you made it reality? I have. One particular example. I was dating this chick, and I'm like, I don't know. I just was really insecure, man. I was like 16, and I just kept like thinking she was cheating on me, and so I'd ask all the time, like, "Are you sure you're not? Like, do you really want to be with me?" It's desperate, sad boy, emo stuff. Eventually, she cheated on me. She was done because I was so needy, desperate, and like weird, and like nagging, and I sucked. I gave myself the outcome I feared the most because it was front and center in my mind all the time. It's the only thing I thought about. It's the only thing I talked about. So if you can come from a place of, I've got a plan, this plan makes sense, I know my risk, I know my reward, and this is what I'm going to do, you remove those things and you put yourself in a position to be successful, whether you win or lose that trade. Because if you have a thesis that makes sense and then a trading plan that you follow and you still lose that trade, you've won because you will make it in the long term. You will still be around trading in 5 years when everyone else burns through their account, and your account will probably be 10 times the size that it is now. So don't ever forget that. All right, it's the last of my TED talk, and then we'll get back into the charts. So, really quick before we do, if you're new here, please type "new" in the chat. We're gonna give away a free membership to one of our lucky, new, wonderful guests. I just need you guys to pop in the chat, type "new" in the chat if you're new, so that we can see your name. We know who you are, where you are, and what you're doing here, so we can give it away. $100 value here, people. You're basically getting a free $100. Come on now, and the opportunity to make a hell of a lot more. So if you're new, type "new" in the chat. Type "new" in the chat. Once I see a couple comments in there, new, Pookie or Nikki, one of you go ahead once we give it 2, 3 minutes for those new people in here that aren't in the Discord and don't know who we are, type "new" in the chat. Uh, Make sure you pick one of those people, they get a free membership. If you don't win, do not worry, I can, extend you a one-time offer discount code to get you started, to get you access to the alerts, the trading education, everything you could ever need to be successful is all in one place and an easy to use and understand package. So let's get back to the SPY, shall we? So what's our plan? We talked about this being mid-range here, 394. We talked about bottom of range, 388. 403 is our top end, right? So what we're expecting into Monday, what I'm expecting into Monday is that I would like to see a soft open. I would like to see this open up, and I'm gonna draw it again so you can, again, feel free to screenshot this, write down the notes. I want you guys to have this plan and go into the week knowing exactly what's going on. If you do that, you will be successful in the long term, and that's what matters to me because I need you to be successful. If you're not, I will be sad. Brian. All right. Matt, we're giving away free membership to one of these lucky gentlemen or women or whatever that typed "new" in the chat. If you wanna pick one of them, Pookie, Nikki, or Duck, select one of these people. Make sure you guys are in the Discord. That's how we're gonna be able to give this away, and type the link, and then we are good to go. There's the link. If you haven't joined the Discord already, get in there. That's where you can contact us to claim your free membership and or discount code, depending on if you win or not. So our plan going into Monday for the SPY is a soft what I would like to see. We're gonna go bear and bull so that you guys have the plan for the whole deal. You know exactly what's gonna happen regardless of what the chart turns up like, so that way everybody has a chance to make some money the right way on the safe trade that actually makes sense. Slap that like button too. If you're new here, we appreciate all the love and support. So if we see a soft open, here's what that could look like, right? Let's say we open up right where we left off. That means we're opening at about 396, give or take, between 396, 395, right? So what do we have here on this hourly chart? Because remember, we're looking at the hourly chart because we want to have a good idea of like short-term trend and momentum, and hourly is a good place to start. On the chart here, we have our EMA set up. That's our exponential moving average. That is a relative moving average that I believe accounts for volume price weight, which is why I like it better. I think it's more accurate. So we have our 8-day purple, our 13-day light maroon. I'm colorblind, so I don't know, orangish maroon, and then we have our 200-day, which is this bright green line here. On the hourly, we are currently trading above the 200-day. Now these EMAs, these short-term guys, so these are the short term, this is the long term. They came and crossed down under that 200-day. And if you look back, they were trading below it for this bearish run that we traded there until bullish ripped up. So because they're trading above, RSI confirms this because again, remember RSI is a lagging indicator, meaning it only tells us things of the past. It does not predict anything in the future. It just tells us what has happened so far. EMAs, same thing. What we need to do is try to find a middle point where these indicators come together to make sense and tell us the same story. When they do, and the price action confirms it, we have a thesis. We have and then we build the plan off the thesis. So let's work through that thesis part together. So short-term EMAs came down below the 200-day, right? Bearish. Come back up. Currently trading above. Bullish. Buyers look like they had most of the volume. RSI, also bullish. Okay, that's 3 votes for bullish. Now let's zoom out a little bit to get an idea of where we're at on the daily to see if that bullish thesis holds any water in the long term or if it's just a short-term idea. Well, we can see that the EMAs are sitting below the 200-day on the daily chart, right? So it indicates bearish. RSI is stuck at about 50. I would say that's neutral or bearish. Does not confirm our thesis in the long term. However, price is currently above the 200-day EMA. Neutral or bullish. 2-1 in favor of the bears on the daily. But remember, sometimes a bearish trend reverses into a bullish one. So what we want to do is we want to trade that reversal and manage our risk so that we can make some money. And let's hear your guys' guesses. Based on what you've learned so far, is SPY bearish or bullish tomorrow? Bear or bull? What do you guys think? Bear or bull tomorrow? Drop it in the chat. Bull or bear? Bull or bear? Oh, look, I'm here too. Cool. All right, so we got John, bear, Nathan, bear. No, Nathan, bull. Zach, bull, Brian, neutral because it's a Monday. I'm with you there. Bear, bull, kept above 394. Tomorrow, bull, bear for the week. Okay, I like that. I can get with that. John, you're a handsome bastard. Look at that guy. All right. Bull in the morning, bear in the afternoon. So flip. So, what I think we are most likely to see, or what I would like to see, okay? I would like to see a soft open like this where we're opening neutral or slightly below neutral, maybe 395 and change. And this will be our first scenario. So you might want to take some notes and write this down. If we get a soft open and we bounce on these EMAs, because remember, they're going to continue through here, right? So these EMAs are going to continue through like this, right? If we get a soft open, we get a bounce, a support bounce off those EMAs, and then we get a push up. I think we're going to test the high of 2 days prior, right? So that would be like 399. Because again, remember how quickly it moved through the zone right here. It sold off, and this is a single hourly candle, right? Went from 399 down to 392, which means that price could flow through this area rather quickly. So in the case of a soft open and support bounce, which would be our bullish scenario, we could trade. We could trade. I think calls would be the move off of that bounce. Call it 395.30 or so. If we soft open and support bounce, and then we trade up to 399, we're going to shoot for those 398 or 399 calls, and we'll take a nice 40-50% there. Again, for all these options, I would not trade any. Do not the DTE. Do not trade same day. I wouldn't even trade the weeklies. I would trade 3 weeks out because if these come down and you didn't set a stop or it blew through your stop and you just forgot, these will absolutely destroy you and go to zero. So I want to make sure that's very clear. I would go not weeklies, the monthlies for end of April. So if we this is bullish scenario 1. Soft open, support bounce, move up, test 399, right about here. Okay. Which means that we want to be taking profit above 398. That's where I would start scaling out of those contracts to make a little bit of money, lock it in the bank. So that's scenario number one. Number two, I think that this would be our bearish worst case scenario is that we open in pre-market up a little bit, looks green, and then comes down, trades kinda sideways for a little bit, and then boom. Similar to what we saw right here, okay, except not during active hours. We're not gonna see that move up. Because again, as we can see here, I think we do have a resistance perfectly. Good for me. In the short term, I think that we are going to struggle with this 397, right? So we did the other day, and then we broke up. And if we go back through the past chart, we've struggled right along this point for quite a while, right? And so we got some points of confluence here, right? Support, resistance, ignore, support, resistance, or resistance, support, resistance, and then resistance, support, and then broke through again. So in our bear scenario, which is our second scenario, I think we open a little bit green. We touch about 397 or so. Everyone's cheering, open green, like let's grab some calls. This is going to be great. Yo, board, shoot me a message, my friend. I have something for you. I need to chat with you really quick. Shoot me a message on Discord, buddy. Um, so we test that 397, and then we come down, we see a support bounce. It gives us the impression that it's gonna bottom out here, 394 and change, and then rip up, but it does not. So how do we trade this, right? So if this is going to happen, how do we trade this scenario? I think personally, my hands are tied. If we get that open, slightly green, and we're right here, my hands are tied because there is the same potential, in my opinion, the same potential outcome for a rip above and a test of 399 coming down as there is a halt right here, not a halt, but a holding price right here, and then coming down to right here. I just don't want to be involved in that. It's too tight of a range. To me, it's not worth it. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna watch. Just gonna be an onlooker. I wanna be neutral. Again, I want the maximum opportunity, right? And so there's really one max opportunity play. There's two max opportunity plays here, okay? And that'll go into our third scenario, which is number one, we hit here and we come down, support test, put city right here, okay, around 394, and then this thing just continues to go just like it did here. I think it flushes all the way down to test this descending support, right? So that could be a move from 394, 388. That's $6 move on the SPY. Those contracts, if you trade the right ones, could be 50% plus. So that could be a phenomenal gain. So that's my second scenario that I think is possible to occur. Now, scenario number three. So I guess two and three are probably, in my opinion, the most likely. We get that same kind of green open, bumps its head, trades a little sideways, and then later in the day finds that bounce off 394, right? Bears are loading up their trucks. They're getting ready to make some money on some puts, some shorts, whatever the hell they're doing. They just start foaming at the mouth, right? And then boom, bad trap. This thing just rips. Some sort of nonsensical news like, hey, banks are never going to be insolvent again. And this thing just rips back up and tests that 397. Okay, so that's scenario three. So we've got our two scenarios are rather similar. That's scenario two and scenario three. Two is that we hit here, we come down, draw it in a different color. That's like way easier to do. They're follow the same instance, and then it comes down, and then it comes down here. This one's gonna be our bear. And this is our bull, right? So this is scenarios two and three. Let's call it just two sides of the same coin, right? We kind of push up and we potentially test 397 and change. It opens as green market, could be good, could be bad. People start getting a little excited. Then we come down. On the bearish scenario, we come straight down. I think it'll sell right off. Okay. And let's try to find some indication of this. So, like days like this, where maybe it moves in pre market, sells off, and then trades neutral, but then moves up. I think that what we could likely see in this scenario is a push up, support bounce. People maybe start loading up calls thinking this is going to be the day. And then at the end of the day, we just get a soul crushing sell off, probably down to about 390, 388. Probably this descending support that's headed straight down here. And if that happens, there's a lot of money to be made on those puts that we grab right here at about 394. So that's our bear scenario. Our neutral slash bullish opportunity, I would say, is this blue line right here where we come up, same thing, green open. I think it's soft open, goes okay. And then midday, we kind of trade sideways until we trade down to support. People start getting scared. I think that's the opportunity if it comes late day to trade some calls and really see momentum pick back up through end of day and then possibly move up into Tuesday if we get a bullish push. So I think that those 2 are the most likely to occur, probably, and those are the 2 trades that I'm gonna be looking at. So in the bearish scenario, I'll be looking at those 389 puts probably, maybe 390 if I'm playing a little safer, and those I'll be looking at when we're about 394 and change. And then if we come down late day, later in the day, not at open, and we bounce around 394 and change, I'll be looking probably at the, 397 calls, maybe 398 if I'm feeling saucy, and maybe throwing in, depending on how much volume we see, maybe throwing in like a 403 call just to see like, "Hey, let's make some money." Because look, if we look back to the beginning of March, we have some pretty good price action to read off of here, which we're opening at about the same price, right? We saw a push up pre-market and then it ripped. But this right here, we opened at about the same price, came down, support touch, ran back up, support touch again, ended green, and then pushed up and sold off into oblivion. We seem to be seeing that mm, inside and outside of every 4 days, right? So if we really look at this chart for what it's worth, look at these are hourly candles, right? So we get 4 or 5 green hours, and then we get 3, 4 very red hours. This is a very good point. I didn't wanna get into spreads, but, I'm gonna talk about this with Bull to get some spread alerts because I agree with you. I think if we get stuck in that 397, 388 range, trading some spreads, which essentially you're selling the contract in hopes that it just simply declines in value because it doesn't go up or down because of the theta decay, right? That's a great way to make passive income with trading, because you don't have to do anything. You just sit there and hold it while it loses its value, and then you buy it back from the guy that held it for as long as they did, or it expires worthless if it never hits the strike on either side. So, what you can also do in this case is if we do see this bullish scenario occur and you wanna sell some 394 puts, again, be very careful if you don't know how to do spreads, but those can likely expire worthless. If we see that strong move up, we trade sideways for a few days and then inevitably test 403. But overall, I'd say that I'm split and we're trading sideways with these 2 outcomes here on the intraday. Now, as far as a longer term strategy, we just wanna look and keep this very simple. I'm gonna get rid of these. So we keep this very simple. Those are our 2 outcomes. Again, this is recorded. If you missed that, you can go back, screenshot it. I would highly suggest that you take notes so you know exactly what trades to get into and when to get into them based on the price action we're looking at. So on a longer term scope, right? So if we're talking like, "Hey, I don't have time to day trade, I just wanna swing," I really like that draw right there because I think that showed the short term strength, and I think it was validated by hitting resistance right here. Meaning this channel was great to trade upside, but now it's not because it's gone. So that's something that's very important to understand that like we can look at these support and resistance all we want, but once they become invalidated, they're essentially useless to us. So I would argue that that was the only support we really had to hang on to. You don't want to start drawing and hoping and wishing based on what you want to see in the trade. You want to just draw with what's there, and what's there is pretty much no good for anybody. This is the kind of your final line of defense, but there's still a lot of room for downside. So let's say this support holds, right? So we're just drawing off the lows to figure out how low the bears push price. And by doing so, we get our support trend, which I would argue isn't I guess it's worth looking at, but it's too loose for my taste. I think the scenario we laid out was good. But it gives us opportunity to downside without giving up on the trade. Again, main point of confluence being right here. And I think that it leads us to 403 should we stay above this trend line. So this might be a screenshot you wanna lock in right now, guys. Draw the support line on your hourly chart so that you have a good idea of like, "Hey, here's bottom dollar bull run potential has ended if this is broken," which it really struggled with the other day. But again, buyers came in with strength. But I would really draw this out because you need to have access to this information. That way you're not getting caught in any terrible trades that are gonna absolutely destroy you. So, 382 is interesting. Huh, that might be a different huh. Oh, interesting. Hmm. So it's more like this, I guess. Interesting. Give me a second. This is interesting. Make sure I'm looking at this the right way. Hmm. I like this. So look, we're zoomed out here, right? Here's what I'm thinking. I didn't have anything to draw. That 392 wasn't drawn, but it looks pretty critical. And I would argue that it would be a clear indication of upward strength if we are easily clearing above and beyond 392. Because remember, we're range bound. Look at this. Range bound, below range bound, above range bound, below. Now we're range bound again. We've been range bound for a long time. Bigger range, but this is the range we're trading because it's more realistic to look at right now. Okay, we've been range bound since August. Even before that. When is that? Since May. This is an easy range to trade. So what I'm thinking here, that's interesting. I'm glad I saw that. We're on the 4 hour. Big enough. Shrink this. There we go. Huh. Very interesting. So I think tomorrow, don't discount that 392. So we talked about above 394 as support, and we were on the hourly as we drew it. No, that puts us right where we were. We were talking 394. That's our 200 AMA. So yeah, I stick with what I said. I stick with what I said. Just draw that 392 on your chart. I think that's kind of our make or break for swings, for long-term swings, not intraday, longer term swings. Above 392, I have a degree of confidence I'm satisfied with that we can continue upward. Below, not at all. Below 392, I will be swinging puts to probably 385. So that's the swing strategy. Map that out, write that down, save that for later. If we can't hold 392, that's when I'm gonna start swinging some longer term puts down to 385. So I think that's gonna be the make or break. That's the pivot point, probably the longer term pivot point. That doesn't affect what we were talking about on the intraday. I'm just saying in a longer term idea, thinking spectrum. I think that's important to know. So, yeah, interesting. Sorry, that just, like, really interested me, and that makes a lot of sense. I can't believe I didn't see that before. Okay. So now that we know that, we have a short-term and a long-term strategy. So again, remember in the short term, we drew out our 2 scenarios. If you missed it, refer back to this video later, screenshot it so you have it. Um, and basically, we wanna make sure that we also have the longer term scope in mind of how we're gonna trade this over the longer term because the volatility's been crazy. So we want to trade this in the short term because there's so much money to be made in this volatility. We don't wanna get beat to death in the long term, but we wanna continue a trade in the right direction in the long term so that we're also capitalizing on that larger scale move. And I believe that when I have a long-term trade running, I'm more efficient in the short term because it doesn't allow me to as long as I stick with it, I feel like the bias doesn't flip and flop, right? So, like, I don't quit it because of the intraday trades and like, "Oh, it's ripping. Oh, yeah," and I'm trading puts long term. I'm not going, "Oh, duh, I gotta get out of those puts and go long-term calls." I think I trade a little better, when I have that that pot commit. The day trades, I treat them as day trades and don't try to turn them into swings when they are not, in fact, swings. So I think that's good for SPY. I like that. We got our short-term strategy intraday. We've begun to map out the longer term strategy that I would argue is gonna be pretty profitable depending on which way it goes. Looking at this 4-hour again here. Um, Long term, we're looking at a test of 403, and then if we could break that, 413, 410 would be my next target, and if we hit that 410, then we can discuss when that happens, and we'll have a new strategy for that. So that's the SPY. Again, if you are confused or you missed it, please DM me, ask questions, but refer back to the video first, see if you can dig through it and figure it out. I think we have a nice range-bound week ahead, which is good because we know exactly how to trade it, where to trade it, and what we're gonna make. So now let's look at an active trade that we have open right now, and that would be the BABA. So we started adding this in the low 80s. This was a wonderful trade, and I think it's setting up to be an extremely wonderful trade. So we had this longer term resistance break here. So this is dating back to the 30th of January. I think it's a longer term resistance that matters. Again, we gapped down from this point, and we've traded through it for a number of days, hitting our head against it quite a few times. So resistance has been broken, but we're still range bound and we're trading on the high end 87, 88, on the low end 80.64. So I've been loading into this position. My stop is set because this is a position trade. It's all or nothing. It's either going or it stops out and I lose and it's done. But we've ripped since we got in. We should be up at least 5, 6%. This is going to be probably a larger position for me. Betting on some comeback from Chinese markets, and I do believe that whatever they've just brokered, uh, for those of you that don't know, supposedly China brokered a peace treaty between the Sunni and the Shiites. I mean, it's kind of unfathomable to peoples that have never liked each other. And the strategy that many people and these like economists, whatever, are talking about is that they're trying to get the oil trade between those major oil powers to be done in the yuan instead of USD, which that's no good if you live in the US. So I would love to see Baba break above here, um, break above 88, and then but also understand in China, they haven't had enough babies. Their labor force is dwindling, drastically quickly. They are overaged at this moment. From the stats that I've seen, it's dangerous, how much their population is tilted towards the higher end of age because it you need to have babies, you need to have continued production of new people to continue the labor pool, unless we really do see a gig economy in which 5 people do the work of 1. If that's the case, then maybe not, but something to keep in mind when looking at stuff like that. So above 88, and then I think we're gonna see $90 easy, but again, our big stopping point here is our resistance on this 200-day EMA. It has always respected this EMA. If you look here, but we referenced that last time, we'll reference it again. It's always respected the CMA, but remember last time we broke above this price point, right? It consolidated, nice little bull flag here, and then boom, it ripped to 121. So it traded from down here, breakout above 88, and it ripped to 121. It moves very quickly through this zone here, guys, all the way from 88 to $100. What I'm hoping to see is strong bullish momentum, good volume coming in, and I would absolutely love to see a rip to $100. Now, our biggest obstacle is right here. It's this 200-day EMA. So make sure you have this on your chart. You need to watch this. You need to understand it. You need to be informed. This is our major resistance. I would really, really, really say to all of you that are in this position, what I will be doing is I will be taking some profit when we hit 90, $91 at our targets, right? Because there is the potential this hits the 200 EMA and just gets slapped back down into nothingness. And also the geopolitical pressures can basically create a situation in which the Chinese markets see money flee from them uh, quickly. So that's one to keep a very close eye on, be very aware of. Um, and let's make some. From 63 to 121. So you doubled your money, doubled your fun. I love that, baby. There you go. You heard it here. Board, I would agree with you. You do see somewhat of a cup and handle. I wouldn't wanna see it really come down below 85. I really would like to see above 85. We wanna see continuation on the short-term trend until we hit our heads on the CMA. That's, to me, is gonna show a lot of strength, and if we do see that strength, then I think we are going to make a good bit of money here on this little bottom scooper we got. And then if we continue to rip, here's the best part, this long-term resistance, if we zoom in, we go back to the daily, our long-term resistance here puts us at right around 95 to $100, which is great. I mean, we broke it recently, but you guys take a look here, we've traded from 80 to 120 a few times, which is gonna be nearly doubling your money. Uh, this is a really interesting play. We're incredibly oversold. We got some RSI divergence here, right? So price does not go lower than it did here. However, it was oversold by quite a bit. And if you don't understand what RSI divergence is, once again, hit that link at the very bottom of the stream, discord.gg/Pennybois. Take the free trading education courses. They will change your life. You will make way more money than you did before you took them, but at the very least, you have the wisdom, knowledge, and access to information that is accurate and informed. So that's a quick run through the bottom trade, the BABA trade. Yeah, I know Pookie would love that. He's Mr. Divergence. Um, Mr. Divergence. Um, so that's Baba. I think that's kind of our look ahead for the couple of weeks for those of you that took the swing. Um, Great opportunity for entry. That one sat right around entry for a few days, right around $80. I really like that. Let's talk GameStop because I know a lot of you traded this. We absolutely crushed it. We alerted this at $16. It ran to high of 27.80. So you almost doubled your money on this one as well. I think that's 60% plus. We've been buying it right around $16. We had that alert out for a few days. So you had a few days to load in that position, and then boom, it ripped. Now, here's what's interesting. Remember, we talked about this on the last stream. We talked about this range, 21 to 27. Look at how it abided by this range so beautifully. Now, what we need to see here is we need to see a little bit of consolidation above 22, right? And then I think that we very well could see something very favorable for those of you that are bullish here and want to see some movement. I think we very well could see a rip here. 'Cause again, remember, look, it was struggling with that 200-day EMA for quite a while until whoop, ripped. However, it also crossed above on the weekly, which I think is a pretty pivotal thing to understand. So if you're trading anything for longer than, a week or so, you always wanna dig into that weekly chart and understand where price is relative to those indicators that you trust and rely on the weekly basis because that's the long term, right? And then on the daily, obviously, it's below. So hitting its head here, over 24.83 is the price to beat. We need to get over $25. If we do, 27. If we go above that, 34. If we go above that, 41. Those are your price targets on GameStop, in my opinion. I think that's the most likely outcome if we see over 25. We see 27 and change, and then we see 34, and then we see 41. So go ahead and screenshot that, and you have the price targets right there that I think we're gonna realistically see. Again, on the daily chart, we are below, so we are still bearish, in my opinion, or neutral, even with this massive sale volume. I mean, this thing loves to run. If we look at the weekly chart, we just barely are peeking our head above that 200-day. On the hourly chart, we're ripping. So, again, the short-term charts can show a different picture than the overall long-term landscape of the company, but we're just gonna trade this one and make some more money. We already made about 60 to 80% depending on your entry. If it was around the alert at about 15, $16, you made a killing. And I also wanted to talk for a quick second about NVIDIA. So we had our trade open. We're up 400% plus on those long calls. We are currently trading above the 200-day. That's on the hourly. Let's get back to the daily. We're trading way above the 200-day on the daily. We're not even touching these EMAs right now. Strong bullish strength. That's why we've stayed in this trade, right? We've seen continuation time and time again. We've been trading this since it was at like $110, right? And then I loaded again 140s, right? And we're trading about 275. We want to see a test of this high 275.89. We want to continue to push above 280. Once we push above 280, I think we're gonna see some consolidation. I mean, this is like the biggest cup and handle I've seen on a chart in a while, and that's why I wanna see over 280 because I think once we get above that, we're gonna test new highs with NVIDIA, and realistically, even though I believe it's inflated, I think this is our path, right? So that was our previous support. I think this past path takes us up to about 330. So I want you guys to keep a close eye on that if continued bullish. So that's what I'm looking at for the NVIDIA options trade. Again, we're in that long swing. It's up 400%. You need to take profit. It's absolutely ripped. You guys made money, so get the hell out while you can, or add a short so that you are protected and don't lose your profits. This thing is trading ridiculously high right now and is likely to come back down to earth for a few days. We have this support trend line here. If we see continuation off this same support, that puts us at a point of confluence about 280. It's gonna be our critical pivot point where I think if we trade down sideways, consolidate upward a little bit, we hit that point and then boom, bump our heads off 300 plus. So let's get there. The Netflix trade absolutely ripped. So it broke out of the trend channel. So I will tell you right now, this is a take profit push for me. We already took some profit when it ripped to 380. We alerted this on the break of 200 bucks. So when it broke above 200, this was alerted in the Discord. If you missed it, there will be more. If you're not in here, you missed it. You need access to these. We traded it from 200, 379, almost 100% gainer. I would say about 75%. Ridiculous. It was a great trade, great long-term trade. And then we traded options. We made about 80% there, all in. Those options are currently ripping right now, but we're at bottom of trend. We need to see a breakup right here. We need to see this break up, and we need to reclaim this channel so that we get pushed to 400 bucks. If we don't, I think we're going to trade back down to 250. So have that on your chart and make sure you have a good understanding of exactly where we are so that you don't get beat in any of these trades. Um, and last but not least, I know somebody asked for was it MDC or MCD? Oh wow, that thing's ripping. What's MDC holding? Is that McDonald's? Is MDC Holdings McDonald's? All right, I am just not familiar with what MDC Holdings is. Who was that wanted to see MDC? Are you still here, my friend? MCD. Okay. Boom. Sorry, John. McDonald's. Oh, wow. Oh, boy. How is this even possible? Oh, boy. That's a stock you wanted to own for 30 years? Jeez. That's crazy. So McDonald's has just, like, ripped since inception. I don't think I've ever looked at this chart before, just being honest. This is interesting. I wonder where this is gonna go. It's widening, so I think downside could potentially be inevitable, but this thing has just been a behemoth. Yeah, it's gonna come down, I think. It's so bullish, but I just have a feeling it's coming. She's coming down. I don't know why. It doesn't tickle me. Well, no. New range. Interesting. My god, I cannot believe this thing is ripped for this long. What is going on in the world? McDonald's, dude. God, just thank God if you own this stock from early 2000s, $8. The boomers got rich, man. The boomers got rich. Wow, 8 cents? You gotta be kidding me, back in the '70s? That's how you make your bread. It's like McDonald's, a monopoly. Uh, there you go. That's your catalyst. So, yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous, but if McDonald's opened fully automated stores from a profitability standpoint, it's as good as gold and it's gone. Look at this is the monthly chart, guys. This is probably the most bullish monthly chart I've ever seen. This is insane. This is the most ridiculous chart I've ever seen. I don't even know, man. Wow. That's all I gotta say. Absolutely insane. I'm almost offended at this chart. I don't eat McDonald's, so I don't really care much for it. All right. Let's look at the swing scanner. Let's get some ideas up for no, that's the wrong place. There we go. Swing scanner and get some stock. Baby. Come on now. Let's see what we got on here. Da 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 da. I'm taking a quick peek at my stock screener right now. See what we got for small cap swing trades. Ooh. No, it's a mortgage company. I don't really want it, but it's so interesting. That chart looks great. Don't punch me. Rocket Mortgage on a monthly, terrible, but look at that. Oversold down to 2 on the monthly, but the weekly has some room for improvement. Rocket Mortgage on the weekly, we have a nice clear path to first 13 and then 15 bucks. So let me get that up there. Yeah, I can look at that AI. John Bauer, I am also bullish, but that chart just spooks me. But again, if you look at it, it could have spooked you every month and just continued to rip. So I don't know, man. I think that depending on whether or not they pay a dividend, that would be more of an equities play. But as far as options would be concerned, it just I don't know, it scares me, and it doesn't move enough that you're going to really capitalize. So, like, I think that there are other more volatile stocks that would offer you more opportunity in the options market. But from a long-term equity standpoint, that looks golden. And if they're fully automated stores now, I mean, they will be the most profitable, terrible business in the world. Pookie, get out of here stealing my watch list items, guy. I know where you got them too. Got them from my screen because I saw them too. So Rocket Mortgage has some room on the weekly if it holds above 8 bucks. Maybe we even swing this. I don't know, but I like this 8, what is that? 814 right there. I like that. This would be a reversal play. So, take risk at your own peril. But I think if we see, we're not going to probably get that entry. 820 was the entry. This would be a little high because the risk of it coming to 791 and then clearing everybody's stops is just too high. So let's watch list this for 7 bucks. Set an alert, 7 bucks. Let's talk about this one. There might be some options trades available though, because I think we see 10 bucks again. And this is the weekly. So we typically have seen moves from 627. It's almost 50% move, and then 6 to 10. It's almost 100% move. So we're seeing 50% moves over a matter of 3 or 4 weeks. So this would be a decent one to options trade here, where this could be a couple 100%. Justin, maybe one day, my friend. That's my only private quench. We've been trying to work out a way to actually make it accessible to people. That's kinda what we're working on. So if you're not on the Discord, you do get it because we put them out as alerts, but I don't, distribute openly the settings. Again, that took me years to build, my friend. We can roll it out as we like to roll it out as like it could just be sent to you in an email every day. That's what we're working on right now. We're working on it. We're in the midst of it. So okay, we got RKT. That one's very interesting. We're gonna just mark that as a watch list item. Um, above 10 bucks. Yeah, this just has a lot of room, but I still like mortgages right now. I mean, there are fewer mortgages getting taken out. Interest rates are ridiculously high. They don't want to loan money. That's how they're trying to slow inflation. Um, but I don't ABML. All right, there's a few on here that yeah, Pookie's working on it. OPK was another one that I did like. That's why I noticed that Pookie was hawking my list because this one is affording a pretty decent entry after a lot of buying. And if I'm not mistaken, we have a lot of. I want to say we have some decent institutional interest here. to the tune of, wow, 300% uptick in insider transactions. Interesting. Price target of 3750. Wow, back in 2016, the price target's at 18 bucks. But, December of '22, HC Wainwright, which they're small cap guys, they slapped a price target of 3 bucks, so 100% upside. I mean, this thing has gotten beaten to death. It's one of the few, at least, like, medical device and or biopharm that looks the most interesting, and this one can pick up momentum very quickly. I do actually like this chart right now, and if we don't stop below 120, I think this could be a very interesting swing setup. As you can see, I've watched this one for a long time. I've had this stupid Fibonacci set up for a long time, but we got a nice little double bottom squeezer here, but it did create a new low, but this is what's important for this one. We need to see a break of that 140. So we need to make sure it reclaims this range and holds here. Because if it does, guys, this thing is ripped to 6 bucks in a matter of weeks during 2020. Now that's 2020, but it's also moved from 520 down to a buck in like less than a year. So, realistically seeing a 30-40% upside on a short-term trade is possible, and holding it longer term with a stop in place, of course, could also yield a greater result. So we want to just keep this on the watch list. Again, we're going to hit our heads here at resistance 200-day EMA, but again, that's at 3 bucks, so that's a 100% upside from right here, and very interesting. And our other trade that we're currently in our active swing that we're going to look at, and then we're going to head on out. If you guys have any tickers you want to look at, one per person, just drop them right there because I got to get going soon. Oh, hey, I'm always do that. Now, here's what's important, my friend. Don't go crazy. Don't throw risk into the wind and say, "Who cares? I'm going for it." Trade it the same way with the same discipline. Always have a stop loss. Always have a plan, and you will find a way to make money. I appreciate you, man. Y'all plug it without me needing to. That's my boy, John. Appreciate you guys. I'm glad you found value in being here. That is like our focus at the end of the day. It's the only thing we care about. Boom, another one. God, you guys are the best. The goal was for the lifetime members that you should realistically just between the inside, like giving Amy's day trade sauce. You got it. You own it. It's yours. My option swing sauce. You got it. It's yours. We went through the number of the master classes that absolutely, in my opinion, ripped all the doors off. So you saw everything, circuits and wires, everything involved in what we do, and you have the recipe for success right on the table in front of you. That was the goal with Lifetime, was to pull back the curtain, give you access to absolutely everything, and I hope you got it, and I hope you made some good money. You should easily, if you're trading with more than 10K, which I assume most of you are in Lifetime, you should have made that money back, I hope, by now. If you didn't, please message me. I wanna make sure that we get you there. Anybody, that is not just Lifetime. If you're not making it, don't quit. Hit me up. Let's figure it out. It's that simple. Need to be all Hell yeah, dude, I'm telling you, there is something to the commitment of like, okay, I'm throwing up some money for this. I'm gonna bet on myself. There's something of that belief in self that I'm telling you, dude, it sets you up for success. I don't get into the manifestation, hoorah rah stuff. Justin, I'll see you later, buddy. I'm glad you joined us. I don't get in the hoorah rah stuff, but I have just always had an unwavering belief in myself that I refuse to let go of. Because of it, I've found success in many areas of my life that I'm very pleased with. It took a lot of work. Don't forget the work, but it worked because I believe it was possible. And I think if you believe it's possible, then I think you're just more likely to notice the opportunities to make it your reality. It's not anything else. It's not some crazy woo-woo thing. It's just simplicity. It's a belief I have, it's something I want to accomplish, it's something I believe I can. You're basically telling yourself, "Hey, you have the skills, you can get it done. Keep an open mind and take advantage of opportunity." That's all it is. But again, everything. Um, so Let's take a quick look at these. We've got PLTR. We just did that one. Disney. We'll take a quick look for you, my friend Alejandro. I gotcha. I gotcha. I gotcha. Don't you worry. So we're taking a quick look at Disney here. One of the most abysmal charts I've seen. Look at the weekly. Bearish Disney. Their costs are going to go up, guys. With what the Florida government did, it effectively said, hey, we are no longer going to continue to fund this operation in full by giving all the tax incentive. I'm worried about how it'll affect Florida because as I also have been told recently, Disney did contribute to a lot of the municipal costs in the surrounding area, and they drove a lot of business in that area. So I don't know the ins and outs of the political landscape there, but what I do know is that I don't see a very bright future for Disney based on this chart. Um, the goal for me was to really see that honestly, I wanted to see 95 bucks just hold and then rip. This is like a long-term range, 97, excuse me. We got this long-term range right here for Disney where it just goes and goes and goes, and it was range bound for a very long time between 97 and 113, and there was tons of opportunity over the last couple years to trade this range till it sold off COVID, ripped to 203, came back down, and now it's bottoming out again at the bottom of this range. So let's move that there. Actually, that makes way more sense. So Disney above 90 bucks, I think still probably a good buy, but based on the technicals right now, it's gonna keep going down. It'll probably see sub 90, but we do not wanna see this low continue. We have a little dead cat bounce twice, and we're trading below the 200-day EMA on the weekly, which is no bueno. Here's the daily. Abysmal, guys. Support line broke, puts puts for the win. Back down to 85 bucks in my opinion. Uh, I really, really think, guys, that that's probably what's gonna happen. Next up, Wendy Vandenosel. Uh, Kaiser Aluminium. Don't know anything about the aluminum industry, so I can't say much there, but I do see yeah, there's a little RSI divergence there. This thing can move up, but it looks like it's already in the middle of a run. This is one personally, guys, if you don't already have a position, I wouldn't touch it. I think there's way too much risk here right now. It's not the juice is not worth the squeeze. We're just trading at 70 bucks. Oh, this is a bigger wow, okay. Yeah, no, the juice ain't worth the squeeze right now. Could be a double bottom setup, but honestly, I think it's gonna bump its head and then trade back down, and you've got a nice little range right here that'll probably get comfortable in at a low of 46. So I would watch that very closely and be careful. Wouldn't trade. That's a no trade for me on that one. Well, it's trading downside, but I'm not sold enough on the end of the upside to say downside. Let's look at a quick look at Amazon. Amazing. Jeff Bezos and company. Amazon's got an interesting chart again, also below the 200-day on the daily, and I would assume also on the weekly. Yep. And it is locked in this range that we identified in the stream last week. Now it's trading above the short-term EMAs on the weekly. That's good. So signals there could be some upside. RSI does not yet confirm that. We have to see a strong push up, which we haven't seen yet. But we do have lower price RSI staying a little bit higher, which is on the other end of that. That would basically tell us that this thing has some downside left in it. Possibly 65 and change, which kills me because I have a long-term Amazon position that I really wish I would have cashed out of more when we hit 180 plus. I think that's like 4K a share, pre-split adjusted price. So I would keep a very, very, very close eye on that. Um, Right on, Wendy. Yeah, I mean, if you're already in it, I mean, just give you a good indicator of kind of what to look at. I just don't like it. So this could be bullish resurgence here, right? It picks back up and then it hits its head 76. If it moves up, because we're on the weekly here, if it breaks above 85, I would set and forget it. Set your stop, 75 bucks. Let that thing ride. If it hits above that point. If it doesn't, if it hits its head here at like 80 and it can't break up and trade into this range right here, pushing the highs of 100 plus, I would definitely probably max out that profit and then secure another entry if it's a company like long term at 60 bucks when it comes back down. But it's a little too sideways for me on the weekly. I would say 100 bucks is a pretty good target if it continues short term bullish. If it doesn't, then you need to see over that 85 and then you'll be good to go. Good chance to buy down on Amazon. I'm dude, I'm gonna tell you, I had the most confidence in the world in Amazon 5 years ago. right? And it ripped. I don't know, man. Some just doesn't feel right. Some doesn't feel right about Amazon. I mean, are they too big? Is it a too big to fail situation? That's one thing I think. Or is it so big, no way it comes down? I mean, they're shifting into medical and prescriptions. People love convenience, we are lazy people, and if that continues in that direction, it's gonna just keep going up. You might have, like, a McDonald's chart on your hands. Let's look at the monthly. Ooh, not like McDonald's, I'll tell you that much. Long-term support on the monthly was broken. As you can see right here, I remember drawing this out when, I think me and Lee were talking about this, me and Amy or something, somebody. Long-term support broken. Now here's what I think we do have in the tank. You draw off these previous oh, what the heck? Oh, it's a horizontal, excuse me. You look at the previous highs, right? So this is the resistance it was always butting its head against, right? For a long time. If you continue that out, I mean, that's your resistance right there. Long-term resistance since 2009, right? Bumped its head. So pretty influential and important price point or pivot point till it broke up and absolutely ripped. I think this is where we could end up, between 60 and $50. Now, if we hit 50, yes, I would that's a load the boater right there, I would say on Amazon. $50 on Amazon, uh, anti-Kramer that thing and buy it. Okay, TRKA, yeah, I'll take a look. I made a video on that for all of y'all, the memers, the meme guys. We're trading this one. This one is pretty abysmal. Um, a lot of bots trading this right now. As you can see, the algos are running this up and down and just trading it sideways to make pennies on the dollar and squeeze you out of your position. That's what they're doing on TRKA. We got a long-term chart here that is like of the ugliest I've seen. This was an IPO. Media group. What even is that? Who's to say? Uh, I don't know, man. No thanks on this one. So if we're being honest with ourselves here, as fun as it is to trade these, let's be realistic. Let's be honest with ourselves. We don't wanna lose money here. And I'm gonna be very honest with those of you that may have came to see this and you've seen the Wall Street bets, you've seen all that stuff, and you wanna believe it's gonna go. Okay, believe that. That's fine. But the chart right now is screaming at us. This thing is going to 0. Now, does that mean it's gonna go to 0? Not necessarily. Look, it ripped to, like, a dollar, ripped over 400% from the low of no, way more than that, it ripped 1,000% from the low of 10 cents. But keep in mind, this stock got so bad, it came down to 10 cents a share on the is it the Nasdaq? The NYSE. Nevertheless, on a major exchange, it came down to to a valuation of 9 cents, which goes to show, poop. We pushed up, we failed, sold off miserably, came back down to try and find support off 16. That's like, in my opinion, like, if you're trading this one and it's below 17 cents, I would bounce as fast as humanly possible because it's probably coming back down to 10 cents and getting delisted. I don't even know, take a look too at what their Nasdaq compliance is at. It looks like they've been below a dollar for quite a while, and if they're not in compliance standard, they'll get removed from the Nasdaq, pushed to the OTC, where there's absolutely no liquidity right now, so they will get destroyed. So check their Nasdaq listing to make sure that they aren't currently on notice to get delisted because they have not been trading at a dollar above a dollar for quite a while. They must trade above a dollar for over what is it? Is it 10 days concurrent, 10 days consecutive? They have to trade over a dollar. They did not accomplish that. It pushed up to 99 cents, and that was it, and that's the bottom of the previous range. If you look right here, you can see it right there. If it woulda kept going, it coulda gone to a buck 45. But it's trading in no man's land right now. It's still in downward price discovery mode. And you don't ever want to take a long position when you're in downward price discovery mode because that basically puts you in a box where you have no idea what the outcome's going to be. And if you're trading for upside, you're not going to get upside. You're only getting downside because it's in downside price discovery mode. So if you're in this TRKA, you want to keep a very close eye. If it can't hold above 19 cents, I would get out. Your next worst case scenario is 17 cents. Below there, it's definitely coming down to 12. If it holds up and it breaks above 24 cents and it can hold above, what is that right there? At about 20 cents mid range, I think you could see 30 cents again, right? Possibly even test the 200 day at about 40. if it holds there. If it does not, it's absolutely dead in the water. Get out, run, run, run. Are you trying to short? I don't know what they're, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, right now, yeah, that's the play. That's like the statistically successful play. Yes, that would be it. It would be shorting it from here, back down to 17 cents. But if it holds above 19, I'd say, I'd be careful because this thing has a penchant to rip. And I know it's a social media meme stock that people are really getting behind. So if they can see that kind of liquidity coming in, what they'll do is they'll front load and then they'll dump it, and then they trade the short all the way down from a dollar. They make 80% on their investment and everybody loses money, so be very careful with that one. Pump and dump. I said it. All right, last one for silver. Wow, this thing's actually got a pretty decent chart. Resume bullish. Okay, 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 and it's held, but it had a big weird day. I don't like that inverted hammer to the upside. That's no bueno. That's not continuation. That's downside, baby. Um, I think it's gonna come down. It's in a little consolidation range. What is that? So let's stretch this out. 230? I'd say above 230, you got a good shot. As you can see here, it's rubber banded from buck 72 up to 320. Wow, that's madness. I think this was an uplist one. So I would keep a close eye on that. When you start to see that volume flow in like that, this one could be a great trade to take. If it can break above 230 and hold, you can see upside. I'd say 250, then 290. I would just keep that on the chart, keep it close to the vest, hold it tenderly, and hopefully you can make some money. So as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you being here. If you can share this video out, it helps us greatly. Make sure you drop some comments on the actual video once it's live. Let me know what you learned. We're going to be picking from those comments. If you're a premium member, to be giving away some free stuff, not the live chat, but the actual comments on the video. So make sure when we post this video live in just a few minutes, you check back in, leave some comments. What did you like about it? What did you hate about it? What would you change about it? What do you want to see that you didn't? Or why you love this so much and we did the best job we could. Leave some comments, and we're going to be drawing from those comments. We're giving away some free stuff. So I love y'all. Stay blessed now.